Hi there! Welcome to this video. I'm Tobias, co-founder and CEO of Skymatic, the company behind Cryptomator. Today, we are going to explore how Cryptomator Hub can help you and your organization protect your cloud data with zero-knowledge encryption. Let's start with a quick overview of what we'll cover today. We start with why protecting your cloud data is important and even needed in many cases. Then we'll look at what Cryptomator vaults are and what Cryptomator Hub adds to them. After that, we'll get into how the zero-knowledge encryption of Cryptomator Hub works in a nutshell. Then we'll talk about who it's for and where it runs. We'll also give you a sneak peek into Cryptomator Hub 2.0 and cover what's new in our biggest release update ever. And finally, we'll wrap up with what next steps you can take to try it out yourself. Along the way, we'll have 3 live demos to show you the product in action. All right, let's begin with the why. Why is protecting your cloud data so important? Why should you care about zero-knowledge encryption? It rarely matters where you actually store your files. It could be in OneDrive as part of your Microsoft 365 subscription, in Google Drive as part of your Google Workspace, or in a self-hosted Nextcloud instance. In all these cases, the cloud provider only controls who can access what. In technical terms, it's simply authentication and authorization. But the files themselves can still be read in plaintext. That means the provider can read them. An intruder who breaches the provider can read them. And anyone whose account has too many permissions can read them. Today, the privacy of your data relies on contracts and policies. Don't get me wrong. Contracts and policies like terms of service, privacy policies, and data processing agreements are important and here to stay. But it doesn't have to be this way. Your data's privacy can rest on mathematics instead. Providers will tell you that your data is encrypted. What they mean by that is that your data is encrypted in transit and encrypted at rest. Both very important and absolutely best practices. But they hold the keys, so they and anyone inside their system can read your files. There is a simple solution to this problem: end-to-end encryption. You may already know it from messaging apps like Signal or even WhatsApp. With end-to-end encryption, the files are encrypted on your device before they are uploaded to the cloud. The cloud provider only ever stores ciphertext, and you hold the keys, so you are the only one who can read your files. Even if the provider is breached, your files remain private and secure. And regulators agree. GDPR and NIS2 both name encryption explicitly as a security measure. EU guidance adds that it only counts when the provider doesn't hold the keys. Disclaimer here, this is not legal advice and you should consult your own counsel for your specific situation. Now that we've established why protecting your cloud data is important, let's move on to what Cryptomator vaults are and what Cryptomator Hub adds to them. A Cryptomator vault is simply a folder. But this folder is special as it only contains encrypted data. The main use case is to store the vault in the cloud you already use, but it can actually be stored anywhere on your device. When you unlock the vault with the Cryptomator application, it appears as a normal drive on your device. You can open files, edit them, and save them as always. The encryption happens invisibly in the background, so you don't have to worry about it. Technically, it's called transparent encryption. Cryptomator is open source with independently audited cryptography and has been downloaded millions of times over the past decade. It's a trusted solution for protecting your data in the cloud. Now let me show you a quick demo of how a Cryptomator vault works with its end-to-end encryption. You'll see both sides of the vault. your side where you can access and edit files normally, and the cloud side where the same folder appears scrambled and unreadable. All right, so my cloud storage location is OneDrive from my company. I have already set up several vaults there, as you can see, including a personal vault. I can also look inside the vault. Let's open the folder D, which stands for data. Inside it, I can only see encrypted files. Even the file names are encrypted. This is what the cloud provider sees, and it's completely unreadable. Let's switch sides and open the Cryptomator application. And let's unlock the personal vault. Since it's a personal password-based vault, I enter my password and click Unlock. Success! Let's reveal the drive. The drive here is just like a USB flash drive you plugged in. You can see the files inside just as you would expect. Let's open this Word file and make some edits. I noticed that I made a mistake in my address, so let me correct that and save the file. The updated file gets automatically encrypted and synced to the cloud, as you can see here in the menu bar at the top. The file we edited was just uploaded. There are no extra steps. Now, let's use the locate encrypted file feature to find the encrypted version of the Word file we just edited. And here it is. Why is this useful? Well, if you ever need to restore a file, you can know exactly where to find it. Let's restore this file to how it was before. Looking back at the Word file, we can see that the address is back to its original version. Finally, we can use the decrypt file name feature for the other way around. And there we go. We can see the original file name. What you have just seen was a password-based vault. That works fine for 1 or 2 people, but it doesn't scale to 50. Sharing a vault password means spreading it around, and it becomes a security risk. If someone leaves the organization, there's no way to properly offboard them from a password-based vault. And in general, there is no overview of who can open which vault, since when, and when their last access was. Instead of a password-based vault, organizations need access management. And again, not just authentication and authorization as we discussed in the beginning, but enforced by mathematics. This is where Cryptomator Hub comes in. It is the access management solution for Cryptomator vaults, while still maintaining zero-knowledge encryption. Cryptomator is responsible for the end-to-end encryption of the cloud storage, and Cryptomator Hub is the key broker. It decides who may open which vault and hands each key only to an authorized person's device, of course in a sealed and encrypted form. This allows for granting and revoking access per person or group without the need for shared passwords. Cryptomator Hub is a server application and it never has access to any usable keys, which is what we call zero-knowledge encryption. So, how does Cryptomator Hub actually work? Without going into too much technical detail, let's look at the key concept behind the key distribution. As with Cryptomator vaults, each vault has one key that opens everything inside. But instead of securing that key with a password, Cryptomator Hub seals it into one envelope per person. Each envelope is encrypted and can only be opened by that person's device. When you grant access to a vault, Cryptomator Hub creates a new envelope for that person. When you revoke access, it destroys that person's envelope. And Cryptomator Hub only ever stores the sealed envelopes. It cannot open any of them. So, what can Cryptomator Hub actually see and what can it not see? Mainly, Cryptomator Hub knows a bunch of metadata about the vaults and users. It knows who may access which vault, which is the whole point of Hub. It knows when access changes, which devices belong to whom, and it keeps an audit trail of all these events. But Cryptomator Hub can never read your files, file names, or folder structure. As with Cryptomator, you can store the vaults anywhere you want, and the storage is absolutely independent of Hub. And Cryptomator Hub can never see any key in usable form, and neither can we as Skymatic or your cloud provider. There is no master key and no admin backdoor. Not because we promise via our contracts and policies, but because the math doesn't allow it. Now let us see Cryptomator Hub in action. In this demo, we will take a look at what a typical workday would look like for a colleague and an admin. We will start as a colleague, unlocking a vault with a company login, and then we will take a look at how to manage access to that vault in Hub. We are back to our vault list in Cryptomator. Let's unlock the marketing vault. This time we don't have to enter a vault password. Instead, my browser opens and asks me to log into Cryptomator Hub. In this scenario, I'm Alice. So let's log in. Boom, that's it. The drive is revealed automatically, and I can work with the files just like before. Even with zero-knowledge encryption, the day-to-day work is just a company login away. Now I want to show you 3 more ways to unlock a vault. First, you can unlock a vault by double-clicking it in the vault list. Second, let's go to the cloud storage location and double-click the vault.cryptomator file. And third, you can use the menu bar icon at the top of your screen. Oh, it looks like Alice doesn't have access to the engineering vault. Let's fix that. We're going to use a different browser and log in as Bob. Bob is the vault owner of the engineering vault. Let's take a look at it. Yes, we can confirm that Alice is not a member of the engineering vault. Let's add her to the list. There's one thing I deliberately want to highlight here because it's easy to miss that any encryption is involved at all. What you're seeing might look like the typical role-based access control you're used to, but it isn't. Remember the envelopes from before? Let's create one for Alice's device by clicking Update Permissions here. We just have to confirm this action, and that's it. Let's switch back to Cryptomator and unlock the engineering vault. We're in. Revoking access is just as quick. Back as Bob, I remove Alice from the members list of the engineering vault. Let's switch back to Cryptomator again and unlock the vault. Access denied, as expected. Now let's take a look at a different scenario. Alice needs to create a new vault for the HR department. In Cryptomator Hub, I click here to create a new vault. Let's call it HR. For now, I'll just press Next in this step. I'll explain the emergency access feature later in this video. Speaking of emergencies, the recovery key is a very important part of the vault. Make sure to store it in a safe place. If somehow nobody in your organization has access to the vault anymore, the recovery key is the only way to regain access to it. Recovery also works completely offline, where you can convert the vault into a password-based vault. The last step is to download this vault template. I'll extract it and save it to my OneDrive next to the other vaults. That's it. Now you can use the HR vault, you can share it with your colleagues, and unlock it like I did before with the other vaults. Before I leave this demo, I'd like to show you one more thing. We are now logged in as an administrator. Let's jump into the audit logs. Here you can see all the events that have happened in the system. You can see who created a vault, who granted access to them, and who unlocked a vault by retrieving the vault key. You have just seen how Cryptomator Hub works in practice. Granting access to a vault creates a new sealed envelope for the user, while revoking access destroys that envelope. Creating a vault takes just seconds, and the audit log provides a clear overview of who can open what and since when. This is something that Cryptomator with password-based vaults could never provide. And if you roll out Cryptomator Hub to your organization, your colleagues will just click Unlock. They will log in with their familiar company login, and the drive will appear just like any other drive. There is no vault password to remember, share, or leak. Now let's talk about who Cryptomator Hub is built for and, since it's a server application, where it can run. Cryptomator Hub is built for everyone with something to protect. Our goal was to build a general purpose solution that can be used across a wide range of sectors. Some examples include legal, healthcare, public sector, and education. Working with highly sensitive data, especially personally identifiable information, requires a solution that can provide strong security and privacy guarantees. It's the same story elsewhere, just with different data. Intellectual property in manufacturing, confidential sources in journalism and NGOs, employee data in works councils. And whether you're a small practice with just a handful of people or a large organization with thousands of seats, Cryptomator Hub can scale to meet your needs on whatever cloud you already use. Typically, the easiest path would be to have Cryptomator Hub managed by us. We host it in the EU and we make sure to keep it maintained and updated. It's the ideal way to start today. Alternatively, you can self-host Cryptomator Hub on your own infrastructure. You can run it in Docker or Kubernetes. This is ideal for organizations that have specific requirements for data residency. It's the same product, but you have full control over it. Either way, your files stay in your cloud storage, and sign in plugs into the company login you already have, whether that's single sign-on, Active Directory, or LDAP. I mentioned briefly at the beginning that Cryptomator is open source. Cryptomator Hub is also fully open source. Every line of the encryption is open to scrutiny, and the security architecture is documented publicly down to the key hierarchy and cryptographic primitives that I haven't explained in detail in this video. Now I'm very excited to share with you what's new in Cryptomator Hub 2.0, our biggest release update ever. We've been working hard to bring you new features and improvements that will make your experience even better. We started our early access in March and have already seen organizations running Cryptomator Hub 2.0 in production. The release candidate is hot off the press and the final release is coming very soon. The reality in organizations is that people change jobs, retire, or lose their laptops. However, zero-knowledge encryption is unforgiving in these cases. If the only vault owner leaves, there is no key and no data. This is by design, as it ensures that your data remains secure. And if the vault owner was the only person with access to the recovery key, the organization would be locked out of its own data. That's why we are introducing emergency access in Cryptomator Hub 2.0. With emergency access, you can set up a council of trusted people, for example, your board of directors. Each council member holds one piece of a key for emergency purposes. When the vault owner is unavailable, the council members can come together to approve a new vault owner. And it's possible to configure emergency access so that, for example, 3 out of 5 council members must approve together. This ensures that no single person, not even an administrator, can recover the vault alone. We also improved the day-to-day administration of Cryptomator Hub. Users and groups can now be managed directly in Hub without the need for a separate admin console in Keycloak, our identity provider. But of course, Keycloak is here to stay, and you can still use it for advanced identity management. Admins can now archive and reactivate any vault, not just the ones they have access to. And for those of you who self-host Cryptomator Hub, we are introducing an official Helm chart for Kubernetes. And also, we redesigned the navigation bar into a sidebar navigation to make it easier to find what you need, especially as an administrator. For the last demo, let's create a new user directly in Cryptomator Hub. We'll also take a closer look at how emergency access works in practice and run a real recovery. I'm still logged in as an administrator from before. Let's go to our list of users. Here I can simply create a new user. Let's create one for Max Ostermann. I fill in the details with a password and the user is created. Now, why is this worth showing? Because in previous versions, this wasn't possible inside Hub at all. Let me quickly show you the old way. Let's go to the admin page and click Manage Keycloak. This opens our identity provider, where you had to go to create a user before. It's a separate console with a lot more going on. It still works and it's here for advanced setups, but for everyday user management, staying inside Hub is just much easier. But while we're here, you can also connect to other identity providers for single sign-on, for example, via OpenID Connect and SAML. And set up user federations such as Kerberos or LDAP. Back to Hub, we scroll down to the admin settings for emergency access. As you can see, we have set up a council of 3 people, and 2 people are sufficient to approve a recovery. It's a 2 of 3 setup. This is just an example, and you can configure the numbers to fit your organization's needs. Now let's switch to Alice, who is one of the council members, and open emergency access. Let's say that Bob, the owner of the engineering vault, has left the company. So our council would like to recover the vault by replacing Bob with Alice as the new vault owner. Alice can start the process, but she can't complete it alone. Since Bob left the company, let's switch over to Carol, another of our 3 council members. From her side, she can see that a recovery process has been started on the engineering vault. She can now complete the approval. That's it. The recovery process is complete, and Alice is now the new owner of the engineering vault. All right, that covers most of what's new in Cryptomator Hub 2.0. There are many other improvements and features, so check out our release notes for the full list. If you are already running Cryptomator Hub, here is a quick overview of what 2.0 means for you. The upgrade itself is straightforward, and all your vaults, users, and settings will carry over. However, there is one thing to plan for. Existing vaults do not share keys with an emergency council yet, so emergency access will need to be set up once per vault. Very old legacy device registrations are on their way out, but this won't be a breaking change yet, and Cryptomator Hub will remind affected users to re-register once. If you can't wait until the final release, early access is open. We're coming to the end of this video. What can you do next to get started with Cryptomator Hub? Start a free trial on our website at cryptomator.org/hub/managed. Try everything you just saw in this video, and you'll know within a day whether Cryptomator Hub fits your organization's needs. The early access special gives you 60 days for free instead of the usual 30. After the trial, you can choose between our standard and enterprise plans. The standard plan is a great start for most organizations, while the enterprise plan adds emergency access with priority support, training, and a dedicated account manager. You can find more information about our plans on our pricing page. You can find detailed documentation at docs.cryptomator.org. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at hub@cryptomator.org. Thank you for watching this video and happy crypting. Bye.